Hey guys, welcome to another fight video. Now in this one, this is the one you saw in the promo. It's the one where I'd seen a gang. You can see where I wrote in chat here. I'd seen a gang coming through with a Kitsune and a Sentinel, and it was mostly assault frigates, but they also had the Kitsune and Sentinel. ECM is never fun. I hate ECM. It's my biggest pet peeve in the game right now, and pretty much forever. But I used to be more tolerant of ECM, but recently, like last night, I had a ridiculous fight in my Brutix where I jumped in, and not only was there like a Macarial, a Vigilant, and like 5 other ships, that would already make it a very difficult fight, but I was probably going to be able to kill a Saber before it was all over. And then what happens? A Falcon uncloaks right after I aggro and start shooting at the Saber, and then I'm just permajammed for the entire fight. So I don't think I don't think that's a fair or good mechanic in the game. So anyways, it's Kitsune. I've basically said in chat to them, I'm not taking this fight. No thank you. I'm not taking this fight so long as you have a Kitsune and a Sentinel. Sentinel, I could live with a Sentinel. But a Kitsune, no thanks. I'm just not going to take the fight. Now, unfortunately, when I warped to this gate, I think I was telling them that, but then I also kind of, in reality, wanted to fight because I kind of wanted to fight them anyway. So you can see what I did there. I landed. I'm not sure if I landed because I wanted to fight them or not. It looks like I didn't want to fight them. I didn't expect them to be on this gate. So you can see I'm warping to the station. And I'm going to attempt to warp before they can point me. But here comes the point. Jaguar. Okay, so now that I'm pointed, my strategy has to change. I have to then now orbit the gate and try to wait and hope that as many as possible will aggro so that I can jump through. Right, so basically, if I'm forced to fight this, I want to fight it in such a way that I can isolate out via the gate some of the targets. So what I'm seeing now is that they're not aggroing. The Jag's keeping me on this side. If I were to jump through, everything would be at random ranges outside 10K, very hard to get DPS on, and I may or may not make it back to the gate in time and then be able to come over here and get a good fight. So, there's that one strategy. It's a possible strategy I could have taken would be to jump through right now, reapproach, let them all aggro on the other side, jump back in, this Jaguar still be here, kill the Jaguar, and escape. That's one possible strategy. But what I see is I just start locking them all up, and what I see here is the Executioner is, he's with some other group, either Tissue or Repel. So he's not a part of either side of this fight. He's kind of a three-way, and he does get involved, I think, at some point. So what I see here is I see a really good opportunity. So what I had noticed is a few nights before this fight, I had noticed that I was fighting against an assault frigate, or maybe it was a Kitsune. It was some kind of frigate, and I had pretty much killed him with 1 or 2 shots. And I think I had one-shot him. So what I noticed right here, let's get our screen draw up. What I noticed is that this Kitsune right here, that's my biggest threat in this fight. If he jams me, I can't kill anything. Now, it's already a little bit too much on field, really, for me to expect to be able to kill and get away with. I'm sure there is a workable solution here that I could have made that happen. But I think what happened is still pretty good. But you see, the velocity of the Kitsune is 0. Now, Kitsunes typically forego tank in return for more ECM. So they have to stay at range because they have 0 or very little tank, because they'll just go maximum ECM. So I see the Kitsune there, and let's see if I can go forward. No, I'm going to just drop this first. All right, so let's go forward. So right now I'm noticing that. I'm locking him up, and you can see right there, I just hit keep at 3K. So I want to keep at 3K to minimize transversal, but what I don't even think I realized at the time was that this guy has 0 transversal. He's not moving. So as long as I'm not moving in relation to him, I'm going to do a maximum damage to him. So my plan now has become to try to one-shot the Kitsune and the Sentinel before I go into anything else, right? So here we go. I've got them both locked. Done my keep at 3K. Just in case I miss, you can see the Sentinel is orbiting. So, you know, for the guys on the other side, kind of a lesson to be learned here is if you're in a frigate, never, ever, ever, ever sit still. Never, ever sit still. Always orbit the gate. Never, ever, ever sit still. So I'm not even in structure yet, so I'm still doing pretty good. I've got my keep at 3K. Transversal now should be very, very minimal. And I'm going to drop my drones, expecting my drones to have to do some of the work. But then as soon as I hit my guns, boom, one shot, he's gone. I try to do the same with the Sentinel, but unfortunately he's moving, and I'm at 5K instead of 3K. So I'm a little bit past optimal. I knock him down into armor, I think, before he jumps to the gate. But, you know, I didn't kill the Sentinel, but I did kill the Kitsune, which means nothing's going to be jamming me. I did force the Sentinel through the gate. So the Sentinel's going to have to jump through, reapproach, jump back in, lock, and engage. So I've removed the Sentinel from the fight for a few minutes, or for 30 seconds at least. So now a couple more come in. I'm locking them all up. And I'm going to go for the Jaguar first. Now, in this case, these are all relatively tanky ships. It's hard to know which one's really the best to go for. You can see that I put my Newt over on the Ishkur. The reason for that is because the Ishkur is going to be my next target, or a target very soon. I haven't put it over on him yet. But the Ishkur is going to have most likely an active tank, most likely active guns, and a relatively weak weak capacitor, and therefore maybe I can weaken the Ishkur enough to where I can just nuke him too. As far as DPS output here goes, the Hawk and the Jag, they're relatively similar. The Jag might have more DPS output. Choosing primaries at this point is kind of a tough choice. They're killing all my drones, which is unfortunate, but it's keeping the DPS off me, I guess. So I've killed the Jag so far and the Kitsune. So now I'm going to be trying to kill this Hawk. He's obviously going to be a shield tank. Once I get through his shields, he'll drop real fast. Let's see here. I kind of think maybe in retrospect I should have went for the Ishkur before the Hawk, because he would have had a less of a tank, and therefore he would have died a little bit faster. So you see now he's through his shield, so he's dropping fast. At this point in this fight, I have to wonder, right? So I'm switching over to the Ishkur. There's still plenty of other ships on field. At some point, JR, I think, helped out a little bit and put a few shots with his executioner into something and then died. But at this point, I have to wonder, what if I had the heavy tank fit instead of the max DPS fit, right? Or not max DPS. This is the fit with the 1 mag stab. Now, what if I had the fit that was with all bulkheads? What if I had, I think it's an extra 16,000 hit points. It would have been a much more interesting fight, I think. I think I would have certainly got this Ishkur, because this Ishkur is so close. Overloading, I know I'm going down. I mean, if you know you're certainly going to die, you need to put out every bit of DPS you can and not even worry about burning out at this point. I should have overloaded a little bit earlier on him. But I died before I killed the Ishkur and managed to get the pod off, although the pod, you know, it's like at 3% in play and it's dirt cheap. So in the end, it's a good fight. You can see I typed in local, or in my chat box there, that maybe I can kill him. So I think I pull up the kills here. Yeah. So I got 3 of them. I got a Kitsune, a Jaguar, and a Hawk. My ship, you know, the total value as far as a kill when it shows on the kill board, it's like around 70 mil, something like that, 70 mil-ish, maybe 80 mil at most, but probably 70. So the Kitsune's 40, 50, Jaguars 30, maybe more, Hawks 30, maybe more. So as far as ISK efficiency goes in that fight, I did very well. I did really, really well, because in that fight, I was able to kill probably not quite double my ship's value, but outnumbered, I killed 3 of them for 1 of me. I'm pretty happy with that. That was, to me, a pretty good fight. So I mean, the lessons here are, for one, never rule out that you can't do something. Um, there's usually some solution. You just got to be creative enough and uh, tactically thinking enough to find that solution and find it quick enough. Because being able to go back and say, well, hey, I didn't notice this, and this could have been this way, and there's a lot of things that in the moment you just don't have time to do that much analysis of the situation. You get better with it with time, but there's just some things where you just got to go or not go. In that case, I was forced into the fight, and I just happened to see a really good opportunity to remove the Kitsune and to kind of force off the Sentinel a little bit to give me more time. So it was a good fight. I hope that helps you out when you're fighting, and I hope you can kind of think about that. Look for the ships that aren't moving when you're up against a frigate gang like that. Look at all their velocities if you're on gate with them. Find the one with 0 velocity, especially if it's one that traditionally doesn't have much tank like the Kitsune, and just nuke him.